Eugenia Cooney rose to fame in the early 2010s for her fashion and makeup videos, but over time, fans grew increasingly concerned over her visibly deteriorating health. Clips, she appears to be extremely thin, fragile, and shaking, with bones protruding beneath her skin, all while cheerfully discussing beauty routines. Eugenia's following grew, so did the concern that young and impressionable fans idolized her skeletal frame.
What's up YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. How you guys doing? If you guys are brand new here to the channel, you guys don't know what we do, don't worry, I'm gonna break it down for you guys. We talk about the most scariest and creepiest videos on the net, on the web, from YouTube videos to TikTok videos, IG reels, Facebook, anything weird, unusual, unexplained, you can find right here on this channel. Want to thank all the seekers, man, who's watching the videos entirely. Commented down below. Greatly appreciate the support. Found this video for you guys today. Let's do what we do best, seekers. Say it with me, y'all. Let's seek the truth.
Scary facts you wish you never knew. It's very uncommon, but there have been many cases of people's intestines being ripped out from vacuum toilets on airplanes. So make sure to always stand up before you flush. A 58-year-old man living in Japan alone started hearing strange noises at night, and things around his house started moving around. So he decided to install a hidden camera and found out a woman had been living in his attic and cupboard for over a year. And the scary part is when he was checking the footage on his couch, she was actually in the cupboard right next to him. TikTok has a secret emoji. Type drool with the bars around it and see what you unlock. Until 2004, it was assumed the giant squid was only a myth, meaning there could be a handful of sea monsters we have yet to discover roaming the depths of the ocean. People with blue eyes are more likely to experience sleep paralysis more than anyone else. Now you can check if your phone activity is being monitored. Just click on share, slide to the very end and click more. And if any unknown apps appear before your contacts, delete them immediately. In 2013, Zac Efron was running through his house with socks on when he slipped and smashed his face so hard on his granite counter. It shattered his jaw and almost ended his life. He was knocked unconscious, and when he woke up, half his chin was hanging off his face. People then accused him of plastic surgery, but Zac Efron claimed that his cheek muscles overgrew to compensate for the muscles that were permanently damaged from the injury. If you like and follow me, you'll get smarter every day.
This is the moment 40-year-old Abraham Shakespeare won $30 million after playing the lottery, but little did he know that his life would be cut short because of this. In 2006, while Abraham worked his shift as a truck driver in Florida, he bought a lottery ticket, and a few days later, he finds out he won $30 million. Abraham went from struggling to becoming the richest man in his neighborhood. But with that came a lot of issues. People in the town began finding out about his money, and they would literally go to his house and ask him for money. But this was the thing, Abraham was too generous, and it was said that in total, he gave away about $1 million to his friends, family, and even strangers. Eventually, he got fed up and realized that he needed to better manage his finances. So in 2008, he meets a woman named Diddy Moore, who claimed that she could help him protect and manage his money. Somehow, someway, Diddy convinced Abraham to give her access and authority of his bank accounts, his assets, and even convinced him to sign over his $1 million home. By April 2009, Abraham mysteriously disappeared, and everything led back to Diddy. When investigators questioned her, she told them that Abraham was alive, and to prove that, she secretly got Abraham's friend, Gregory Smith, to call Abraham's mother and pretend to be him. Not only that, but Abraham's friends and family began receiving text messages from his phone, reassuring them that he was still alive, but that he was tired of people asking him for money, so he left to live a quiet life far away. But here's the twist. It turns out that Abraham never learned to properly read or write, so there was no way that these messages were written by Abraham. Investigators quickly caught on that Diddy was behind this, and after learning that Gregory was paid by Diddy to pretend to be Abraham, investigators got him to work with them and find out where Abraham was. So then Gregory met with Diddy and wore a hidden mic, and Diddy admitted that Abraham was deceased and that she knew where his body was buried. Investigators dug up Diddy's backyard and found Abraham's body buried under a concrete slab, and it was revealed that his cause of death was 2 gunshots to his chest. Investigators believe that Diddy took Abraham's life after he realized that she was stealing his money. Diddy was arrested and convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison without parole. Now, despite investigators having all this evidence against her, she still claims till this day that she's innocent and that someone else took his life, but this other person she keeps mentioning doesn't exist.
More money, more problems, man. He won $30 million. And the fact that people were coming up to his house, just freely asking him for it. Friends and family is one thing, but just complete strangers just coming up. Just imagine, man, a complete stranger coming up, hey, I heard you run a lot of money, man. I need a piece of that. The things, man, people would do for money.
Young girl was picked up by an eagle, and you won't believe what happens next. 3-year-old Fan Hyo played carefree in her village one summer afternoon in 1932 when she suddenly vanished. Moments later, dozens of villagers claimed to have seen a massive sea eagle bigger than any bird they ever seen swoop down, talons extended, and lift the little girl off the ground into the sky. Panic rippled through the village. Some screamed, others froze. Within minutes, 200 people launched a desperate search, climbing rugged cliffs, scanning ledges, and calling out her name. They found her shoe and a crumbled handkerchief, then nothing. For 7 agonizing hours, hope and fear alternated like tides. At last, 3 brave climbers scaled a nearly 180-meter sheer cliff toward a jagged eagle's nest. There, lying in the eagle's nest, was Fan Hyo, unarmed, breathing, and just sitting there, scared. It seemed that the eagle had mistaken her for prey, then for reasons unknown, abandoned her gently instead of consuming her. After being rescued, she lived a full life and passed away peacefully on November 12, 2010 at age 81. Her story became local legend, celebrated in books, films, and even mirrored in the island's council emblem.
This is the scariest thing that could ever happen to you on the entire planet. Imagine living your entire life only to realise that it was all fake. This is 100% true and could happen to you. Time is relative, and if you're dreaming, it could actually only be 5 minutes in the real world, but it could feel like a whole day in the dream world, right? You've probably had a dream like that. So, a while back, a young boy went to school. And this particular day, he was out in the playground and he got into a fight with some of the bullies there. It was quite a hefty fight. He got punched in the face, knocked down to the ground, but just managed to pick himself back up. After that, he decided to leave from the school because it was quite bad, went to a new school and just carried on his life. He ended up being a very successful businessman, owning multiple businesses, having, you know, the dream life. 2 kids, all the dream cars, dream house, going on nice holidays every year, everything you could imagine. Until one day when it all changed. The guy was now in his 50s, so he'd lived his entire life, really, and had everything he ever wanted. And one night, laying on the couch watching TV with his family, he stared over at the light on the other side of the room, and he noticed it just looked strange. It didn't look like it had done before. It was almost blurry. It just didn't make any sense. And he became fixated on this every single day, every single night. He would sit there and stare at this lamp, trying to figure out what was going on with it, because it was almost 2D, and it just didn't make any sense. That was when the realization came that the lamp was never there. The lamp wasn't even real. His life flashed before his eyes, and the young boy then woke up on the playground after being beaten up by the bully. He was knocked out from the fight, and his mind had literally created this whole life just in his head in that 5 minutes where he was knocked out, but it felt like an entire life to him. So he woke up and was asking people, where are my kids? Where's my wife? Where's my car? What's going on? Everybody laughed at him. It was just like, you're literally a 10-year-old in school. What's going on? But this is genuinely real. This has actually happened to people, especially people who have been in comas. So what's to say we're not dead right now and our minds are just creating this whole life that's not even real?
He's playing mind games on us, bro. That messes with your head, man. Makes you question everything, question your reality. What do you think, Seekers?
These are some extremely unsettling facts, and I found all of these on Reddit. Number 1, the black market. The black market is something of an urban legend in common society, but it's very, very real. And did you know if you have enough money and access to the black market, you can purchase a slave for as little as $90,000. And while we're on the topic, number 2, slavery. Now, you think of slavery, you think of times in the past that are long gone now, thankfully, right? Wrong. Today, it's been estimated that there are about 30 million slaves on Earth right now, which is the most that there have ever been. And that to me is crazy. Number 3, the Challenger. Now, we all remember the absolute tragedy that was the Challenger exploding. But if you don't know, here's a quick rundown. The Challenger was a space shuttle that was taking off carrying a couple of passengers who were able to be a part of a space mission. But the thing is, a couple of the passengers included were normal people, like a teacher. And the taking off of the Challenger was going to be a publicized event on TV. Millions of people were tuned in to watch this space shuttle take off, and it did. And then it malfunctioned and blew up in the sky. And everyone saw it. And if that wasn't dark enough, Listen to this. It's been confirmed that the people in the Challenger were still alive after it exploded, and the only reason they died was due to the impact when it came back down to the earth below. That one was rough, and I'm sorry I keep ruining your guys' days with these facts, but that's why.
Morbid Facts,
Was
Part
rough.
576. YouTuber Eugenia Cooney rose to fame in the early 2010s for her fashion and makeup videos, but over time, fans grew increasingly concerned over her visibly deteriorating health, with many suspecting a severe eating disorder. In many clips, she appears to be extremely thin, fragile, and shaking, with bones protruding beneath her skin, all while cheerfully discussing beauty routines. Viewers have pointed out moments where she seems disoriented or struggles to sit upright, yet continues streaming, sometimes for hours in front of thousands. As Eugenia's following grew, so did the concern that young and impressionable fans idolized her skeletal frame. In 2019, she entered treatment and appeared healthier upon returning, but over time her condition seemed to regress, sparking renewed accusations of glamorizing eating disorders to vulnerable audiences. YouTube and Twitch have faced mounting criticism for allowing Eugenia's content to remain accessible, despite the ongoing concerns about its potentially harmful influence.
That's the first time I've even hearing about
These
her.
are some of the creepiest things that have ever been found inside of the ocean, and trust me, you won't believe this last one. There's a 200-year-old fully intact train that is at the bottom of the ocean off the coast of New Jersey, and nobody knows how it got there. Just recently, scientists discovered that there are spiders that live and breathe underwater. This is a tripod fish, and they live up to 15,000 feet deep and walk, not swim, across the ocean's floor. And finally, elongated skulls like this one were found deep in an underwater cave off the coast of Asia, and nobody knows what happened to them or how they got there.
Atlantis confirmed. Do they know they haunted? They have to know that, right?
Do you ever meet someone online and then you suddenly get that bad feeling? Kind of like their smile says hi, but their vibe is giving, I've got a body buried in the backyard. Maybe this is even somebody you want to go on a date with and you think to yourself, I'm just going to run a background check just for funsies, just to look. Spyfly is a tool that lets you run unlimited anonymous background checks. Nobody knows that you do it, and you can also do reverse phone lookups. So as it turns out, the guy you're thinking about dating, he's probably fine. But you never know. You can use Spyfly for everyone. New neighbors, Spyfly. Craigslist meetup, Spyfly. You got a PTA meeting? Spyfly. Just minimize the risk of going missing and do the research. So if you want to know who you're really dealing with, go ahead and check out Spyfly today.
Bone-chilling things caught on
Check it
camera.
out.
This is a photo that was taken by a girl and her sister while at their cousin's wedding. Nothing seems to be strange or unordinary until you look closer. Between the heads of the two girls is the face of an old woman, but the sisters say that this isn't any old lady. They claim that the face of the photobomber belongs to their grandma. But the thing is, their grandma passed away years before this photo was taken. Due to their grandma's deep religious beliefs, the sisters think that their grandma wanted to pay their cousin a visit on her wedding day to congratulate her. What do you guys think? Comment below and follow for more.
Seen it happen before, bro. People in pictures in the background. That's eerie, bro. It was at a wedding too. Could that have been their grandma? Need some answers on that one.
An American teen's Antarctica dream just turned into a 5-week snowstorm of legal trouble. Literally. 20-year-old influencer Ethan Guo was trying to become the youngest person to fly solo to all 7 continents. He'd already done 6, and Antarctica was the final boss. But in June, instead of just flying over southern Chile like his official flight plan said, he pushed south, landed his little Cessna on Chilean Antarctic territory, and boom, officials said it was an illegal landing. Chilean prosecutors charged him with lying to aviation control and landing without authorization. This week, the charges were dropped under a few conditions. Donate $30,000 to Fundación Nuestros Hijos, a kids' cancer charity, within 30 days, leave Chile ASAP, and be banned from Chilean territory for 3 years. The problem? His plane's been deemed unfit to fly, and brutal winter weather has grounded regular flights. So he's been stuck at a military base for over a month, waiting for permission to leave. Guo says he's relieved and still wants to finish his mission. But for now, Antarctica's not letting him go.
You were today years old when you found this out.
That's insane.
Every 5 seconds, 9 people die and 22 people are born. And in the time it's took me to tell you this one fact, 15 people have died. There are around 18 decillion different colours in the world and humans can only see 10 million of them. If you travelled 100 million light years away and looked back at Earth, you could theoretically see dinosaurs. And if you folded a piece of paper 42 times, it will be thick enough to reach the moon.
This man helps a
Has to be
woman
cap,
with
right?
one arm rescue her mother. In this video, you can see a man hiking on the Oregon cliff when suddenly he hears cries for help. He quickly ran, and when he got there, he realized that the girl's mother had fallen off a cliff. He rushed to help and asked the daughter to grab a hold of her with 2 hands. That's when he realized the girl only had one arm, which is why she couldn't pull her back up. However, that didn't stop him because he used all his power to pull the mother back up, and luckily, no one was injured at all. Honestly, I'm just glad he was in the right place at the right time.
This is what your fingernails say about you, according to science. If you have round bulbous club nails, this could indicate emphysema or a number of chronic lung conditions. Pitted nails where it looks like there is loads of little holes in your nails, this could indicate psoriasis, arthritis or eczema. Those lines which are horizontal indentations could indicate infection or malnutrition. Koinolichia, which are spoon-shaped nails, indicates iron deficiency, anemia. And Nola Nula, which is the half moon you get underneath your nails, could indicate anemia.
I want to talk about how Count Orlok doesn't really look like a classic vampire, because there's a lot of historical context to these looks. So first off, in the recent Nosferatu, the director had no interest in just recreating the Count Orlok look. Instead, he went back to old vampire folklore from New England, back when people thought vampires were just regular dead people that could possess people from the grave. So he wanted Count Orlok to look like a real Romanian nobleman that had died. And that's different from the original Count Orlok, who literally was supposed to look like a rat. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you, it's not really more complicated than that. The original came out in 1922 and is really just a metaphor for the Spanish flu. The Spanish flu killed 50 million people between 1918 and 1920 and was brought back on warships from people returning home after World War I. And they play on the fear of that plague in both movies. There's lots of ships and lots and lots and lots of rats. Rats, of course, have become a symbol of the plague because it's believed that they transported the bubonic plague around. But what's the most interesting in this, I think, is that the original Nosferatu came out 4 years after the Spanish flu started, and our Nosferatu came out 4 years. So I was always under the impression that no one died at Disney. Like, I had heard the rumor that technically they don't pronounce people dead until they're outside of the park, that way they keep their squeaky clean reputation. But that is so far from true, and actually this law firm has a compiled list of all of the incidents. I'm going to show you some of them, but if you're interested in dark stories, I think you'll like the podcast. So in 1973, 2 young boys actually hid in the park until it closed. They wanted to explore Tom Sawyer's Island, but as they started swimming across, one of them started drowning. The other one actually tried to save him and got him over to land, but he himself drowned in the process. And then it was actually the next year that someone was crushed on the America Sings ride. She was working the ride and she slipped in between a stationary platform and a revolving wall, and then the wall started turning. The ride had only opened a week earlier, so they weren't sure if it was because they didn't train her properly. And this one sucks because it's actually one of my favorite rides, but in 2003, the Big Thunder Mountain ride actually malfunctioned, and over a bump, it went airborne. The whole coaster hit the ceiling of the tunnel they were in, and then it came forward and all of the back cars crushed onto the first car, crushing someone. And there's a bunch more, and this place actually has a whole timeline of events, so not only was I wrong, but I was very wrong, as you can see.
This is why you should never make eye contact with a gorilla. The average silverback gorilla is 4 to 9 times stronger than the average human male. They can deadlift 1,800 pounds, and their grip can crush the skull of a crocodile. Luckily, gorillas in captivity and in the wild have been known to be very peaceful creatures that will only attack when provoked. But this doesn't mean there haven't been a few isolated cases of stupid people pushing their luck. In 2007, a woman frequently visited Germany's Rotterdam Zoo and spent a lot of time smiling at the male gorilla Bokito. Zoo employees warned her many times about making eye contact with him, since greater apes typically interpret eye contact as a display of aggression. But the woman claimed she and Bokito shared a special bond, so she ignored these warnings.
No, you don't.
Until one day, Bokito decided he had enough when some kids were throwing rocks at him, so he leaped over the water ditch that separated him from visitors. He immediately went straight for the woman and brutally attacked her, dragging her around for hundreds of feet and inflicting numerous broken bones as well as more than 100 bite wounds. The woman narrowly survived the attack, spending months in the hospital and undergoing several reconstructive surgeries.
Hey man, stop playing with those apes. I know y'all seen that video of like the kids playing with the ape and then like crashed into the window because they was beating each chest. They ain't someone to play with, bro.
Strange facts about Kim Jong-un that will seriously shock you. First up, Kim Jong-un does not go to the bathroom, or at least that's what the people of North Korea believe. The government tell the people of North Korea that Kim Jong-un does not need to use the bathroom because he is God. Next up, Kim Jong-un has to smile in every photo, but there is actually a reason behind it. This is because Kim Jong-un needs to demonstrate to the people of North Korea that he is the definition and the personification of joy. And lastly, Kim Jong-un loves basketball and is amazing friends with retired basketball player Dennis Rodman. And the two have become extremely close friends over the years.
In the early 1900s, Eben Byers was born into a very wealthy family in New York City. He attended Yale University in Connecticut, which is a very prestigious university. After his college graduation, he didn't need a job. Eben most likely would have become a pro golfer had his father not just handed over the very successful metalworking business that he started that made his family wealthy. Overnight, he went from being just rich to being uber rich. Eben did attempt to spend his money, began buying up luxury properties. He bought horse racing stables, and he bought an entire luxury box at Forbes Field, which is where the Pittsburgh Pirates professional baseball team used to play. Eben also, through his role as chairman of this company, began connecting with and befriending very powerful people like the founders and executives at the Coca-Cola company. Eben's life was really going quite well until 1927. That year, Eben was 47 years old, and he took some time off to go catch a football game at his alma mater. Afterwards, he gets back on the train to head back to Pittsburgh, and this is a very long ride. Eben bought a first-class ticket. He was in a train car that had bunk beds for passengers to sleep on during the ride. The train is well on its way to Pittsburgh. Eben manages to roll to the side of the bed and actually falls onto the ground. He lands hard on his left side. He feels this shooting pain in his left arm. And then when they roll into the station in Pittsburgh, he went right to his physical therapist's office. So the physical therapist examines Eben's shoulder and determines that there's no structural damage to his arm. Eben is in pain. And so he says there's a new product that came online that's quite expensive. It's called Radithor, and it's supposed to dull aches and pains and give you this huge boost of energy. As prescribed, he drank a very small spoonful of this liquid, and right away he felt this surge of energy. The pain in his arm started to fade, and so over the next couple of days, Eben took the prescribed amount of this Radithor, and every day he felt happier, he felt fitter, he felt alive. He began taking more and more of this tonic to the point where he was drinking 3 full bottles of Radithor every single day. In 1931, one day, his lower jaw just separated from his skull and went slack. The reason this happened was because Radithor was radioactive water. In the early 1900s, the radioactive element radium was believed to have highly curative properties with no side effects. After consuming over 1,400 bottles of Radithor over a 3-year period, Eben's body was just starting to disintegrate from the inside out. After he had his jaw surgically removed, the rest of his body also just began to crumble. There were holes forming all over his skull that were exposing portions of his brain. And so by 1932, Eben was dead. Eben was buried inside of a lead-lined coffin that was designed to absorb any of the radiation. 30 years after he was buried, scientists exhumed his skeleton, and they determined it was still emitting the same levels of radiation as when he died.
That's insane, bro. He's basically just drinking pure radiation. One of the crazy stories we heard yet, serious.
She was pulled over for speeding, and the bodies of 2 children were found inside of her trunk.
You got to open that up all the way. What is that?
Huh?
What is that? No. Pull it out. What the Get the in! Put your hands up!
33-year-old Nicole Johnson was asked by her sister to take care of her 2 children, 7-year-old Jocelyn and 5-year-old Larry. This wasn't supposed to be permanent, it was just going to be temporary, and her sister trusted her. Nicole took the kids to a hotel in Baltimore, and at one point she gets very angry with Jocelyn because she is accusing her of taking things that didn't belong to her. She gets so angry with Jocelyn that when she hits her, she falls to the ground and hits her head. Nicole panics and puts Jocelyn in a suitcase for over a year and doesn't tell anybody. It's now 1 year later, and 5-year-old Larry tells Nicole that he's very tired and wants to lay down in the back of the car. Nicole claims this is when all of a sudden Larry stopped breathing. So Nicole places his body inside of a storage bin right next to his sister in the trunk of her car. In July of 2021, Nicole gets pulled over for speeding. As police pull her over, they start to smell this horrid smell. The officer then asks her where this smell is coming from, and she says it's from these blankets that she has in the trunk. But he has a gut feeling that something isn't right. He opens the trunk and does see those blankets, but he also sees a suitcase with maggots coming out from it. Those officers obviously want to see what's inside that suitcase, and when she opens it, they see the body of a child. Upon further searching in that trunk, they find another body of a child. Nicole tries to explain to the officers what had happened to these children and that she didn't know what to do and thought that this was the best option. Nicole honestly believed that hiding these children and not saying anything would be the best option. Once the autopsy was done for both children, it was revealed that they were very malnourished. 7-year-old Jocelyn was only weighing 18 pounds and 5-year-old Larry was weighing 21 pounds. Throughout all of this, Nicole showed no remorse and was sentenced to 50 years in prison.
This is the most dangerous man on the entire earth. This guy right here is Mark Dutroux, and what he did will genuinely leave you speechless. There's a lot of crazy crime and really disturbing stuff going on in the world at the moment, and this guy apparently was thought to be part of similar rings as well. So this guy's Mark Dutroux and his wife Michelle Martin. In the 80s and 90s, he bought many houses in Belgium and would use each one as a separate dungeon, going out into the streets, getting people, bringing them back and doing things that I cannot speak about here, but full videos on my YouTube, go to the link in my bio. Underneath the home, he built a soundproof chamber so no one would hear a damn word, and went on to take many people, putting them under the ground and undergoing the most horrendous things ever. Eventually he was caught for doing R and other things to over 5 young people, and went to jail and got released within 3 years, and going back to do more, but this time, not leave anyone alive. No mother even called the police and said what he was doing. They didn't really do anything. Eventually going round while 2 people were in the basement, and they left. I can't talk about most of it on here, but go to my YouTube link in bio for the full thing. Facts that will mess with your perception of time. Sharks are older than the rings of Saturn by hundreds of millions of years. If you were given $10,000 every single day since the pyramids were built, you would only have about 6% of Elon Musk's entire wealth. To give a clear picture of the difference between a million and a million seconds ago was a little over a week ago. A billion seconds ago was the year 1990. Jimmy Carter was the first president to be born in a hospital. Obama was the first president born under the same American flag he served as president under. Harriet Tubman was born in Thomas Jefferson's lifetime and died in Reagan's. There were Greek playwrights who wrote shows nearly 2,000 years before Shakespeare was even alive. Follow for more.
Well, Shakespeare was copy or something?
First says a lot about the type of person that you are. First of all, take a look at this photo right here. If you first of all notice 3 flying birds, that means you're a very adventurous person and are constantly looking for the next big thing. You're very motivated to following your hopes and dreams at any cost. If first of all you notice the face of a woman, this means you crave companionship and love being around people, and also potentially want to actually establish a relationship with someone pretty close to you right now. If you saw the trees first, that means you're a very relaxed and laid-back person and you just go with the flow. Next up, take a look at this photo right here. If you saw the trees first, you trust your gut and always follow your own intuition. Not a very trusting person and will always go off what's best for yourself. However, if you saw the tiger first, you're a very open-minded person, but very strong-minded as well. Once you set your mind to something, no one's telling you otherwise. This photo right here. You saw the trees first, you could potentially be a little bit narrow-minded. You like being comfortable in one area, which isn't a bad thing, and are just comfortable in one position with your group of people. However, if you saw the skyscrapers, you like to think big, follow your dreams, and like to be completely outside of your comfort zone at all times.
Where'd you guys see Seekers on those pictures, man? I definitely saw the tiger, I saw the trees, and I saw the 3 birds lining up perfectly, so I guess I have some of those traits. You guys see anything else, man? Because I know everybody's not going to see the same thing. That's an edit. Call it how we see it, man.
Test your phobia. Thalassophobia.
Okay. Guess that's the fear of water, right? Deep, dark water. I don't think that affects me very much. I'm cool. Damn. I think you did that. Like I said, the fear of water, I don't.
Gruesome facts you didn't know, part 156. This photo, taken by a PetSmart employee in Arizona, shows a freezer overflowing with the bodies of dead animals due to understaffing. Another employee reported that cutting corners has led to hamsters eating their young after giving birth. As a last-ditch effort defense mechanism, the horned lizard can actually shoot blood from its eyes. After the Battle of Waterloo in 1815, looters, scavengers, and even surviving soldiers were taking teeth out of dead soldiers left on the battlefield. They would sort them into sets and then sell them to dentists who would boil them, cut off the roots, and shape them into dentures.
That's insane, bro. Using dead people's teeth as dentures.
Random facts about Australia because I just love y'all that much. The word selfie came from Australia. It was first used by Aussie man Nathan Hope when he posted a picture after he busted his ass while drinking. There's more kangaroos than people. Since kangaroos are the white-tailed deer of down under, it's common to eat kangaroo meat. I've actually had a kangaroo burger, and it was not bad. Y'all are home to the most venomous snake, fish, octopus, spider, which I didn't even bother putting here, one of the few venomous mammals, and the most dangerous bird in the world. That doesn't compare to the most venomous thing of all. Because the most venomous things in the world, the box jellyfish and the irukandji, are from Australia. Somehow, with all the dangerous animals in Australia, the one responsible for the most names on Twitter bios, horses and cows. Y'all are so afraid of spiders and snakes, but a horse is more likely to kick your lights out. But it's not all bad. Y'all do have the happiest animal in the world, the quokka. Fun fact, really happy fact actually, they're not endangered. They're vulnerable, so they're not 100% safe, but they're definitely not going extinct. Which is great because Rottnest gets about $4 million in tourism every year, and the quokka selfie is a big reason why. Australia also has the longest fence in the world at 3,488 miles. Supposed to keep rabbits out, but I guess they forgot rabbits can dig.
I've seen my fair share of cults, and this one
Crazy
is pretty
facts.
weird. This cult calls themselves the Cult of Mother God, and it's run by this woman here, Amy Carlson. She calls herself Mother God, creator of the universe, and she pretty much believed that she was being controlled by the spirit of Robin Williams himself, and not only him, but she could also channel information from other celebrities who weren't alive and even were alive, Donald Trump. But yeah, like Steve Irwin, Carrie Fisher, MJ. With everything in her, she believed that all this advice she was giving people was coming from Robin Williams himself. Her parents claimed she was a straight-A student, and sometime between 2000 and 2007, she meets a man named White Eagle as she was frequenting a website called lightworkers.org. She's pretty much convinced she's a divine being by this man, and she leaves her husband, her job, and kids, moves to Colorado with this cult. They'd start posting in 2009 and would call themselves the Galactic Foundation of the Light. Amy's health starts declining very badly to where she starts losing weight. She's down to 103 pounds. And this cult believes that Robin Williams is going to come down in a spaceship and pick her up. She can't weigh over 103, and she's going to ascend. Her health continues to decline, and Robin Williamson is nowhere to be found. He doesn't show up in his spaceship. So this group spends about 12 days with her body. I forgot to mention, but she was last seen alive on April 10th of 2021. But yeah, police would eventually break in and find Amy's body, her face covered in glitter, body in a sleeping bag, wrapped in Christmas lights. Kind of like a shrine, they called it.
Man, cults are dangerous, bro. Especially when you meet somebody, man, it just changes your freaking perception of reality.
Most terrifying urban legends from around the world. In 1978, a girl named Catherine went missing after she heard strange noises coming from the woods behind her backyard. Her sister said Catherine heard the voice of their mother calling to her, but something about this voice sounded distorted and wrong. That was one of the first sightings of Siren Head, a tall humanoid creature with unusually long limbs and two siren speakers attached to his head with human mouths inside. This allows the Siren Head to play the voices of its victims' families to lure them in. This creature is usually found in rural places and small towns, making it easier to blend into the environment and disguise itself between the trees or as a telephone pole. So remember, next time you hear the voice of a family member coming from an unusual place, don't go investigating. And follow for more stories.
Siren Head, man. That's the first time I'm hearing the lore about that, so it's real out at night, especially when she's saying in rural towns or something like that, areas you don't know. If you hear somebody call your name, family member, you never know. Something is trying to play a trick on your mind, man. Trying to lure you out there. Siren
College
Head.
facts. 91% of people are no longer friends with someone they called their best friend. The person you think before you go to sleep is more likely to appear in your dreams. Unexpected texts from the person you care about can have a positive effect on your body and instantly improve your week.
Hey. That makes sense.
These freak-offs, which involved groups of people performing sexual activities with each other, reportedly started in 2009. These parties were described as multi-day events involving heavy drug use, alcohol, and allegedly Diddy used force, threats, and coercion to make victims participate in these events. These substances that were used at these freak-offs were there to keep participants compliant, and basically it got people so intoxicated that they were sometimes taken advantage of. These freak-offs were held in rented hotel rooms and mansions in New York, LA, and Miami. But this is the thing, Diddy was so known and popular back in the early 2000s that everyone you can possibly think of was at his parties that he hosted. There's photos of A-list celebrities such as Kim Kardashian, Khloe Kardashian, and J-Lo, Leonardo DiCaprio, Jay-Z, Beyonce, Mariah Carey, Ashton Kutcher, Paris Hilton, and the list goes on. Now, were they all necessarily involved in these freak-offs? Not everyone. But it's been said that many of them were participating in these activities and some of them weren't but knew about it. And if they were involved in this back in the day, they don't want people to know now. And after all of this was released to the public, these celebrities have been really quiet and no one wants to speak on it at all.
Now if you want to hear
Man, those Diddy freak-offs, man, I know that list. Probably A-list celebrities. Speaking not just celebrities, sports players too, NBA players, NFLs. Because like I said, it was popular back in the 2000s. So everybody was at those parties, man. So we don't know who was doing what, man. Maybe some of them were, some of them wasn't. So that's just freaking insane, bro. Those Diddy freak-offs, man. When that whole lore or list gets revealed of who was doing what, some more people gonna be going down, man. I don't think it's just gonna be Diddy. What do you think?
Scary myth. This is one that actually turned out to be true. This was like way back in the day, but there was this infamous funhouse called Laugh in the Dark. Like any other kind of funhouse ride attraction that you would go through, it's supposed to scare you. And the whole thing about it was that it was filled with these creepy mannequins, but there was one mannequin that stuck out to everybody. All this time went by with kids who would go up to this mannequin and something seemed off about it because it was so oddly lifelike. Of course, strange mannequins aside, somebody was going to make a buck off this place. So there was a day when a film crew came in because they were going to shoot a movie. With all these mannequins and everything kind of lying around, they had to move things from one place to another. So the director said, can you pull that mannequin and put it to the side? Wait for the arm of the mannequin to snap off and reveal human bone. The entire time that kids and the public had been suspecting there was something off with that mannequin, they were right. It was a real human body being used in the funhouse.
This is the scariest story about Do Not Open. There was an 18-year-old girl named Mia who was in her first year of college. She lived alone in an apartment near her university. One night when she was doing the dishes, she got a call from her friend Pete. She picked it up and he said, I'm bored, I want to hang out. Mia said, yeah, me too, come over. Pete then said he'll be over in 15 to 20 minutes. She then hung up and decided to take a shower. Mia was in the middle of shampooing her hair when she suddenly heard a loud banging on the door. She stuck her head out of the shower and said, come in, it's open. But a few minutes later, the banging on the door started again. She then stuck her head out of the shower again and said, come in, it's not locked. Just then, her phone started to ring, and it was Peter. Mia said, I'm in the shower, why don't you stop knocking and just come in? Peter's voice sounded extremely scared and he said, do not open the door. Mia said, why not? I'm outside your apartment building, whispered Peter. And I just saw a strange woman coming up the stairs to your apartment covered in blood and holding a knife. And she was smiling weirdly and didn't look human at all.
You never know, man, who's lurking. I had to have the right access to her apartment. His good friend, man, warning her, bro.
The same day this guy was released from jail, he went and killed and then decapitated his mother. His name is Alejandro Gonzalez, and this happened in Arizona. The police did arrest the 25-year-old after he killed and decapitated his mother right before her birthday. This happened on September 27th after somebody called 911. When the police got to the scene, they found her decapitated. Her name was Teresa de Jesus Cruz Rubio. She failed to show up to her surprise birthday party. Obviously, her family got really worried and they found her door locked, so they had to call a locksmith to come and open it. It was unfortunate that they opened it and saw a horrible scene. Police found blood and knives everywhere, with the shower and sink still running as if somebody was trying to clean the evidence. Her vehicle was also missing, but surveillance camera footage caught her son driving it. Police found Alejandro Gonzalez the next day on September 28th and took him into custody for questioning. He was covered in blood and had bruises all over his hand. He was also in possession of his mother's stolen vehicle. He even admitted to decapitating and killing her as well. He also claimed someone else was involved, but there's no evidence that points to that right now. Let me know your thoughts about this case in the comment section below, guys.
If you're a kid, make sure you shower.
Insane.
This, my friends, is the Skunk Ape. Click the plus, drop a like, tag a friend, or he might find you. It is said that the Skunk Ape gets its name of its absolute disgusting odor, and its attraction to other very smelly odors. On top of that, its appearance resembling a massive ape. It is also said to be roaming around certain parts of Florida, so if you live there, I would definitely be careful. My question to you guys is, do you still not want to shower?
They made a freaking lore, bro, to get people to shower? That's
This
insane.
is one of the most haunted places I've ever been to, and I won't go in here alone. It's an old abandoned nursing home outside of Waco, Texas. And if you're wondering why it was shut down, it was because an elderly woman was left here in the parking lot in a locked van on a hot day, and she died. Abuse and other crimes against the elderly run rampant at nursing homes, and this place was no stranger to it. I went there for my YouTube channel a couple of years ago, and the video footage that I captured inside is shocking. I found a doll hanging by a noose. I heard the sounds of people inside the building and talking, and it looks like there's someone still there. Would you explore this place with me? Let me know below.
Nah, I stay away from that type of energy. You got it, bro. I don't know how those people do
Freaky
it.
facts you didn't know about. If your immune system ever discovers that you have eyeballs, it's going to attack them until you go blind. At some point in time, a stranger has thought of killing you. If you're ever exposed to rabies and start to show symptoms, your survival chance is virtually 0%. You should never use bleach to clean up cat pee. The combination creates chlorine gas that is toxic. You are never 100% safe, no matter where you are or how you feel. If the sun exploded right now, you wouldn't know about it for another 8 minutes. There's a brain-eating amoeba that lives in lakes and rivers of the southern United States.
So because I'm back in like my Halloween thing right now, I was rewatching all of the Texas Chainsaw movies, and I was racking my brain because I'm like, I know this is somewhat based off of a true story. Thinking to myself, I know the movies have been sensationalized, but there's definitely a name behind this. So I did some research, completely forgot about Ed Gein. This guy was the original inspiration behind Leatherface because of the things he did, and specifically the things he made. It was something like 17 years he was exhuming bodies. He was also making people disappear, if you know what I mean? Creating these morbid and grotesque items, leather items out of their skin. It's kind of eerie to think that his neighbors, people locally, they just didn't know who he was. He was just the isolated man who lived in an old house and stayed to himself. But if you do want more information on this, we're probably going to cover it in a Creep Time podcast.
You never know what somebody's capable of, man. Like I said, he was the guy who stayed to himself. And look what he was capable of, man.
Thanks to Warner Brothers for sponsoring this video. This October, the greatest villain of all time returns to theaters in Joker Folie. Joker Folie is a direct sequel to Joker, which is one of the greatest comic book movies of all time. But what made Joker different from the rest is that Joaquin Phoenix didn't just play the Joker, he became the Joker. Phoenix lost over 52 pounds for the role. He isolated himself during the preparation process, and even improvised intense scenes like smashing the clock and his haunting dance scene in the bathroom. Phoenix went through an intense physical and psychological transformation to become the Joker, and it paid off, becoming the first R-rated movie to cross $1 billion at the box office. And luckily, the iconic character is returning to the big screen for Joker Folie, with Phoenix reprising his role as Arthur Fleck, and Lady Gaga taking on the role of Harley Quinn. This sequel dives even deeper into the mind of Joker and explores more of the dark, grounded Gotham universe that we want to see. And you can grab tickets now for Joker Folie, which hits theaters October 4th.
The goofiest serial...
Also, I had to stop there. Anybody guys see Joker Folie, man, we know that I heard it wasn't it, man. That people did not like it, and the ending was that let's just say it was bad. That's what I heard. I don't know. Tell me down below if you guys actually seen it. I would have checked that out.
Serial killer nicknames. This is Cayetano Santos Godinho, the teenage Argentinian serial killer. By the age of 16, he committed 4 murders, 5 arsons, 11 assaults, 1 attempted kidnapping, and the murder of 3 animals. He was also once jailed for chronic self-pleasuring, which was illegal at the time. This monster from Argentina was appropriately nicknamed the Big-Eared Midget.
The Big-Eared Midget? What the type of name is that?
These animals were recently discovered, and the last one is unbelievable. This first one is a wolf monk, and they're highly aggressive, and they eat everything. This is a crowilla. These are super intelligent creatures who swoop down and steal your food, but they write a thank you card after. This is a louse, and these creatures are found all over the world. They wait for you to go to sleep, and they hide under your bed, then they come out and bite your toe. This is a raniwi. These are super fast creatures with the temper of a honey badger. This is the catfin, and these are some of the most dangerous new creatures ever found. They swim through the water fast like torpedoes, but they are known to knock everything off boats. The candy is a much safer option though, although they're kind of messy on both ends, kind of like leaving little landmines everywhere. This is a dogster, and they're one of the safest to be around. And even though that boy is thick, they don't eat that much food. The monkola is highly vicious though. They sleep most of the day, but if you wake them up, they throw buckets of poo at you. This is a squinky, and they're to be avoided at all costs. If they see you walking with food, they come and steal your food and then wait. And if you're still there, they eat you next. The chizard is the next white meat. They're said to taste like chicken. And the pingo is a new favorite pet by some people. They are so friendly to the point that they annoy you to where you want to punch them.
Whatever you do not feel bad for this woman. This woman's name is lovely Kristen Antoinette Johnson, and she had a 6-month-old baby. But one more thing is, she was a severe drug addict. And she would often invite friends over to her house or go to her friends' houses to do drugs. And when she would do this, she would just lock her son up in a car seat and leave him inside the house. And she would place him in the attic where she wouldn't be able to hear him. Well, on this particular occasion, the little baby went 4 days without any food and starved to death. Apparently, the baby had diaper rash so severe his skin was literally falling off. When she found the baby, his body was already decomposing, and she still took him to the ER and got arrested there. And she was sentenced to 20 to 80 years in prison for the murder of her baby.
Thanks, man. You take certain...
Interesting facts that will make you think.
Okay.
When people talk about traveling to the past, they worry about radically changing the present by doing something small.
True.
But barely anyone in the present thinks that they can radically change the future by doing something small. The person who invented audio recording probably thought it didn't work right when their voice sounded different. The best part of a cucumber kind of tastes like the worst part of a water balloon. An air conditioning repairman spends all day in buildings with no air conditioning. When it's fixed and finally cold, they leave. Security at every level of an airport is always taken very seriously. Until you get to baggage claim, because then it's just like take whatever bag you want. The amount of people older than you never gets bigger. When we're young, we sneak out of our houses to go to parties. When we're older, we sneak out of parties to go home. Follow for more.
Have y'all done that?
8 years old when you realized the candy lifesavers are shaped like a lifesaver because if a kid chokes someone, the hole in the middle will save their life because they'll still be able to breathe. I was 10 years old when I realized that the Krusty Krab is a crab trap. Next, after you take off the caps on these Kool-Aid drinks, you can actually flip it around and re-close your drink. Okay, flames don't have shadows. Did you know that Sid from Toy Story 1 is also the garbage man from Toy Story 3? And I was 10 years old when I realized that a Gatorade cap fits perfectly at the bottom of a Gatorade bottle.
Okay, we did learn some mind-blowing facts, man. I didn't even know you could twist those links off the Kool-Aid just... That was a cap. I always used to throw those away. And then we had a Sid 3 freaking cameo in Toy Story 3. The more you know, man. Top in, man. You're gonna learn some interesting facts with this.
Here are some facts that are guaranteed to make you go, wow.
Talk about it.
Tag some friends so they can also go, wow. This one's a bit mental. If you fully stretch out the DNA of just one of your cells, it'd be about 2 meters long. However, if you stretch all of the DNA from all of your cells out, it would reach twice the diameter of our solar system. There is such thing as a polka-dotted zebra. Since when? Chicago is actually sinking at a very similar rate to Venice. Everyone needs to know this. It's been determined by scientists that 3 seconds is the perfect dunking time for a British biscuit. You're welcome. And 4 seconds if it's an Oreo. Picasso Bruthlow's full name is actually 23 words long. Cool, but why? There is over $1 million worth of hidden treasure buried somewhere in the Rocky Mountains. I'll be right back. It takes 43 muscles to frown, however only 17 to smile. So what we've determined here is it's easier to be happy. Says he's screaming. Speaking to, if you didn't know any of these, you have to share it.
There's treasure in the Rocky Mountains? I'm on my way. We gotta go up
This is
there.
your friendly reminder that flies are racist, and you can use that to your advantage. Okay, not really, that was low-key clickbait, but hear me out. You can actually lower the chances flies press you based on the color of your clothes. According to studies, flies are most attracted to the color blue because I guess they mistake it for food or something. Dark browns and blacks close behind. Colors. We are fully talking about colors here. Generally, darker colors are more attractive to insects like black flies, but if you've been to any, I want to say, culturally diverse cookouts, you'll notice the flies have a type. Now, if wearing black isn't a choice but a way of life because, you know, studies also show that many disease-causing flies and mosquitoes hate bright colors like yellow and orange. And since flies are attracted to dark-moving objects, light, neutral colors, that's what you're going to want to go for. And if you're really not trying to mess with flies, striped clothing might actually confuse the flies and make them less likely to land on you. No joke, that's this Barco Donkey's whole flow. But if you're not trying to do all that, wearing white, beige, or lighter colors like yellow for the summer might just be the move. The more you know.
Write that down, Seekers. Write that down. We need all those anti-colors, bro. When I'm going out, man, I'm gonna switch it up. No more freaking flies and mosquitoes for me, bro. They're hella annoying, man. I'm glad we're learning these facts out here.
According to experts, what you see first can say a lot about your personality. Today's fun personality test. Look at this picture and let me know what you see first. Comment it down in the comments, lock it in, and then I'm going to tell you what experts say about you.
What do you see?
You saw the trees first. According to experts, you have great intuition, and you always trust it. You have a very laid-back personality, and you like spending quiet time doing nothing. If you saw the tiger first, according to experts, you're very strong-minded. And once you make a decision, nothing can change that. And you're somebody who just likes a peaceful life. You don't get into drama just for the sake of getting into drama. So tell me in the comments what you saw first, and are experts right about you, or did they get it completely wrong? And for more fun personality tests like this, follow me.
The most
I saw the
rich
tiger.
kid Snapchats. This kid was complaining that he crashed his Aston Martin, and he is now driving this, a Bentley. No way you're complaining about that, bro. Don't do that. This kid was mad that he was heading back to school. That was in his private jet. This guy posted a picture of a Rolls Royce and him wearing very expensive shoes. And he captioned it, peasant protection. What? This kid was complaining that his dad got him a bad first car and his dad promised him a Ferrari, showing that he got a new Porsche instead. Bro, I never want to hear you complaining again.
Me either.
You know that crying literally makes you prettier? My name's Angel, and I've been studying in the field of psychotherapy the past 7 years, as well as being a makeup TikToker. And guess what? I just got out of a lash appointment because I cried all of my lashes off this month. And am I mad at myself? Not one bit, because psychologically, crying is a sign that you're healing, not a sign that you're broken or weak. Why? Because your body is designed with something called lacrimal glands. Lacrimal glands are activated when you cry. When your lacrimal glands are activated, your body immediately goes from a state of fight or flight to rest and digest. Your body and your brain are literally threatened when you're in a state of fight or flight. But when you're in a state of rest and digest, you are healing. Your brain becomes prettier and healthier when you feel your emotions deeply. Don't feel wrong for crying. You're actually going in the right direction.
This photo
So
shows
cry more.
41-year-old Stephen Plattle marrying his 19-year-old daughter Katie, who is pregnant with his child. Katie had been previously given up for adoption after her mother Alyssa realized that Stephen was physically abusing their daughter. But in 2016, Katie, who's now 18 years old, wanted to reconnect with her biological parents and actually ends up moving in with them. But after some time, Alyssa realizes that her husband is acting very differently and is even starting to dress better. She decides to ignore this change in behavior until 2017, when Katie gets pregnant and the father is her father. Alyssa immediately divorces Stephen, and just 2 months later, he and Katie are set to get married and give birth to a baby boy. Both the parents attend the wedding and support the marriage until 2018, when Katie begins to see a different side of Stephen. But when she tries to end the relationship, Stephen suffocates their newborn baby and stuffs him inside of a closet. He then proceeds to shoot both Katie and her adoptive dad.
It's a doom, right? From the start. That dog ain't sweet. Well, they said it was a skinwalker disguised as their dog. Cause I have a feeling you're in danger. Y'all know what I mean? I'm in danger. From the Simpsons. Yep, that's how I felt, bro, watching that.
As disturbing as it is entirely possible Amy Lynn Bradley was smuggled off this cruise ship in a suitcase. In 1998, Amy Lynn Bradley went on her family on a Royal Caribbean cruise, right? Early in the morning, her father last saw her on this balcony, and then he closed his eyes for 15 minutes, opened them, and she was gone. It would almost seem like she maybe fell overboard or even jumped overboard, but there's something much more disturbing that might have happened here. So this is a real photo from the ship. This is her first night on that ship when crew members started to notice her in the way she was dressed. There was even a report that there were several crew members who were preying on her. She was about 23 at the time. Even later that night, this is real footage from the dance floor that night on the ship where she appears to be pursued by one of the band members, Yellow. And of course, if you want the full episode on this, you gotta go check it out. Now, at the time the ship was docked, and 5 months later, witnesses claimed to see her on the beach where she disappeared, in the possession of 2 men.
They're gonna say no, so here's what
Since the Olympics themselves don't give out any money to medal winners, it's left up to a country's government and sponsors to decide what they'll win. And boy, do they differ. I mean, starting with the host, France have increased their prize money to $86,000 for gold. USA pays $37,500. Canada are looking at about $16,000. Great Britain pay a whopping total of $0. And the same goes for Norway, New Zealand, and Sweden. But then we got the other extreme. Hong Kong is paying gold medal winners a staggering $780,000. They'll even pay you if you finish 4th to 8th place. Indonesia promised their last 2 gold medal winners 5 cows, a meatball restaurant, and a new house. Oh, and $350,000. Singapore, commonly confused with China by US lawmakers. No, Senator. Again, I'm Singaporean. Said they will give gold medal winners $744,000. Malaysia are giving out a foreign-made car. Kazakhstan are going for 3, 2, or 1-bedroom apartments. China has always kept theirs a little bit of a secret. And then, just for our rapid fire, we've got South Africa, Spain, Germany, Italy, Australia, and Thailand. Oh, and if you're wondering if athletes could at least just sell their gold medals, well, they're not actually made from pure gold. And if they were to sell them, they'd get about $960. That's it. So the question is, which country do you think takes the W for their prizes?
This is the one who gives out the most, man. I'm thinking when I was a kid, I know I wasn't the only thing when I was a kid. I thought if you want to go medal, you were rich, you were set for life. Dad said if you sell it, bro, so you only get like $960. Yeah, we learning, bro. The Olympics, I said, they scamming, bro. Whole life a scam.
Clearest picture of a spirit that I've ever seen. When this photo was taken, there was no woman present inside of the building. And when investigators checked the photos that they had taken that night afterwards, they saw this ghostly face of a woman.
Oh.
And what's really eerie about this is that this photo was taken inside of the Deux brothel in Montana. And this location is known to be haunted by a number of women. I actually spent the night recently inside of the building where that photo was taken. Welcome to the Deux brothel in Butte, Montana. Now, this place is haunted by a number of female spirits, and it has a pretty tragic history. So there were 3 deaths inside of the building, and all 3 of them could have been murders. In fact, one of the former madams of the brothel actually passed away up here in the upper floor of the building. And almost immediately afterwards, another woman took over her position, started driving her car, wearing her robes. So people definitely suspect it was a murder. In the basement of the building is a very scary portion of the place called the Cribs. I was talking to the owners of the building, and they think that there may have been illegal baby sales going on in the basement. And they also think the lives of babies and children may have been ended. The energy in here is so dark, it's so scary, and it's violent too. I saw it firsthand. I just can't get over this photo. I think it gives very uncanny valley vibes, and when I investigated there that night and actually was in the pitch black inside of that building, I couldn't stop thinking about how freaky this photo was, and the activity that we caught on camera that night definitely matched the vibe of this picture. It was scary, it was intense, something choked my dad out. I was with my dad, he almost had to quit investigating that night.
Yeah, the video is on my YouTube channel now if you want to watch it. It's so crazy.
Should we check that out, Seekers? A full-on haunted freaking brothel? What the hell? Why didn't they just freaking knock down that building, man? Like you said, they had dark energy over there. If you can brave your soul investigating that paranormal, I don't know if I
The
can do it.
mean amount cheating drama is just got so much crazier. Because not only is bro posting videos of him doing pull-ups in the gym the day after he may or may not have been cheated on, but he's also seen sat by a pool with his arm over a new girl. And I mean, at this point, I'm not even sure if she's special because every shot that we're seeing, there's a new one. In this one, he's sat next to a girl in a black bikini. And then moments later, there's another one with a yellow one this time. Point is, bro's really learning from Neymar. Now as for Alex Padilla, she removed the I'm married text from her TikTok bio today and also deleted her Instagram that had over 500k followers. Her new Instagram only follows 34 people and Lamine is still not one of them. She also posted a new video, which could be seen as a little bit of a dig, where she is wearing the Spanish national team shorts and also with a song that translates to something about the line of, remember how perfect this body is. So the question is this going to turn Lamine into a beast or distract him and send him on a bender?
The dark rumors about powerful people. Is there any truth to that?
My mom thinks there's a conspiracy theory where all the rich dudes get together in a room and they like plot like Inspector Gadget or something. Here's the problem with that theory. They have such big egos, they don't like each other. Elon Musk doesn't like Bill Gates. So there's no universe where those two dudes are at a table. Do you think you become a billionaire without being an extreme narcissist at some level? You are greedy and some level of psychopath. There's a ruthless level to it.
They're wired kind of like serial killers.
Exactly. Serial killers are solo wolves. Warren Buffett comes off as a nice guy, but trust me, this dude will eat your heart out in a negotiation.
Cool facts I think you should know.
What do you guys think?
2. The blast of air you feel when you walk into a store is meant to stop bugs from flying in. Some people are genetically predisposed to be more attractive to mosquitoes. People who trust their gut feelings are more likely to predict the outcomes of future events correctly. Tying your hair too tightly can strain your scalp's muscles and tendons, resulting in a ponytail headache. The feeling of your arm falling asleep at night is typically caused by pinched nerves, not a lack of blood flow or circulation. When you bring a live Christmas tree into your house, you're likely bringing spiders, mites, and other overwintering insects inside as well.
But I'm a live Christmas tree type of person. I don't like the fake trees. What do you guys think? See, because are you guys fake tree persons or you guys get the real pine trees, man? Those facts. Man, we are learning out here today, bro.
3 tips that can actually save your life. Number 1, if you're outside and your hair starts to do this, run and find shelter immediately. Because this is a sign lightning is about to strike right where you are. Number 2, if you're stuck in a falling elevator, do not jump or try to pry open the doors. You want to lay flat on your back on the floor. This position will give you the best chance of survival because it distributes the impact across your whole body. Number 3, if you're stuck in a sinking car, do not try to open the door. The water pressure against the door will be too strong and will not allow you to. You want to undo your seatbelt and roll down your window as fast as you can because this will allow you to escape.
Here are 7 facts you need to know today. Let's start off with the fact that the average person walks the equivalent of 5 laps around the world in their lifetime. Yeah, that means you. Time to get those steps in. Globally, only 2% of people actually have green eyes. And it is considered the most attractive eye color. So basically, send us to someone who has green eyes. Domino's are currently trialing drones for their delivery process. That's right, instead of a guy rocking up their car with your pepperoni passion pizza, you've now got a drone. Coming up to your window. TGI Friday promotion called Mobile Mistletoe used a drone to fly mistletoe around the restaurant to random customers. This was a really cool idea until one service when the drone flew into a customer's nose. This person became the Van Gogh of noses, if you know what I mean. What I'm trying to say is drones, if flown correctly, are a lot of fun. And if you're planning on getting a drone anytime soon, there are cheap options to start with. Banggood actually offer insane prices on drones, as well as literally everything else you can think of. The link is in my bio, and thank me later. Finally, in 1673, the Big Apple, New York was known as the Big Orange. Elon!
The Big Orange? When the hell they changed the name to the Big Apple?
Weird-ass facts that I know for some reason. Most Koreans have a genetic mutation called ABCC11, which makes their sweat odorless. If you ate a polar bear's liver, you would literally die because there's way too much vitamin A for a human to handle. If you ever find yourself seeing an anteater doing this silly T-pose, get the fuck away, because that is their way of warning you that they're about to claw your eyes out. On average, around 2,195 children die from diarrhea every single day. That is more than AIDS, measles, and malaria combined. Around 95% of whale semen is dumped into the ocean during mating season. You actually have a lot more in common with gorillas than you think. For instance, the average length of a gorilla's schlong is 2 inches.
He just try to cook everybody, bro. Who watched? Why is he trying to cook people, bro? And I never knew that fact about diarrhea. All the other ones combined, man. That's how people
Did
go out.
me and Yamao just get cheated on because the video that is going viral is striking god-level fear into every man's heart right now. Although Lamin never publicly said it was official, he brought Alex Panella out after he won the Euros final. And just a few days ago, they went on holiday together in Greece. So, yeah, they were probably dead. But then, last night, a live stream went viral showing Alex with a group of friends. And at the start, yeah, it didn't seem like much. Then, a couple minutes later, this brother filming raises the phone and shows her either sat on another guy's lap or at least very close. Almost immediately, she smacks the phone out of the guy's hands and says this in Spanish. I don't speak Spanish. Someone translate in the comments, please. Now, let's be honest, this isn't proof that she cheated or that they even broken up. But this morning, they no longer follow each other on Instagram. And guys are now saying that if Lamin could get cheated on, none of us are safe. And that she fumbled the bag. She fumbled generational wealth for the love of the game. But if we do get any actual confirmation, I'll let you guys know. These are creepy facts
You know what happened.
that are
They
absolutely
ain't loyal.
disturbing. Part 1. Up first, you breathe in dead skin every single day of your life. This is because the dust in your house is actually 50% dead skin, which is from yourself and family. So next time you're around your house and you see dust, just know that's 50% dead skin. Next up, your eyeballs are a part of your brain. Your eyeballs are so close and connected to the brain that they're considered a part of the brain. This is absolutely mind-blowing, and I never knew this. Finally, death of an old age is not a real thing at all. You can't die of old age, only by the diseases brought on by old age. Up first, your belly button is an ecosystem. There are at least 2,300 distinct different species of bacteria living in your belly button. So next time you're in the shower, make sure to wash your belly button because I know you definitely forget. Next up, did you know spicy food literally tastes like a burn? When tasting spiciness, the tongue is actually tricked, and your brain senses temperature. So that spicy feeling you feel whenever you eat spicy food, that's actually just your mouth burning. Finally, your brain can live without a body. The human head can stay conscious up to 20 seconds after being decapitated. Just imagine being decapitated and your head is just laying on the ground, and you could still hear, see, and think. That's what you call a living nightmare.
Here are some disturbing animal facts that are going to make you look at the animal kingdom differently. Parents and teachers definitely wouldn't want me telling you any of these. So, listen the fuck up. Now, flatworms definitely look like the kind of creature that God was bored on the day he made them. However, there is some fucked up shit going on in the flatworm species. For starters, all flatworms are actually born male. Gotta be very careful in how I phrase this next part, otherwise Papa TikTok will be very mad at me. All flatworms, as they are born male, will fight with their lightsabers, in which the loser of the duel gets injected and their lightsaber falls off, making them a female, and that's how flatworm females are made. Next up, sperm whales are very majestic creatures. Oh, in fact, not, and let me tell you why. They can actually vibrate you to the next world. They are so physically massive that their clicks are so loud that they can vibrate you or cause an air bubble in your brain, making you meet your maker very quickly. Geese, these blue-eyed devils are so strong that they can break your shins with their beaks. Dolphins are little shits. You know how you like going down to the lake and skipping some stones? Well, this complete menace enjoys that too. However, instead of using stones, they use fucking stingrays. That's right, when they're bored, they swim down, catch them, bring them to the surface, and skip them along like they're a rock. I'm holding back the laughter, but it's still wrong. Next up, we've got baby sloths. If a baby sloth falls off its mother's back and down onto the forest floor, sadly, more often than not, the mother can't spare the energy to go down and get it. Which, as you can imagine, doesn't necessarily end well for a baby sloth. And finally, we have pigeons. Now, I dislike these flying dodos as much as I dislike seagulls. However, I'm not kidding, they are capable mathematicians. I'll be honest, point out to myself, I fucking hate maths. Just like non-human primates, they are capable of learning abstract mathematical concepts. But they're complete menaces to their own society as shown in this video. My point proven, they just threw one of their own into the next world.
Phase ADAP, he was on the pigeon theory, man. He was the first
Terrifying
one.
websites you should never visit. Part 2. Crime scene photos. Trigger warning, this website is extremely graphic and not for the faint of heart. It shows real life crime scene photos and then explains them in depth. The website is a bit much and not for everyone, so I would definitely take that with a grain of salt. Comment down below and tag a friend if I should do a part 3.
I don't think I want to visit that site. I don't need that in my mind.
Disturbing brain facts. 1. The brain will protect itself even if it means misery to you or death. If you're stuck in the middle of a cold place, your brain will fall asleep to conserve energy and never wake up again. Inhaling smoke in the middle of a burning house, your brain will make you stop breathing and pass out. 2. Your brain doesn't necessarily stop all activity the moment you are pronounced clinically dead. Up to 30 minutes of brain activity has been recorded after death. 3. Comment brain and I will DM you a brain hack you definitely have never heard about. 4. When you're falling asleep at night and your body jerks. This is called hypnic jerks. This happens because your brain thinks you're dying if your body falls asleep faster than your brain. 5. 90% of all illness and disease is stress related. 6. Certain brain injuries or conditions can lead to spontaneous and uncontrollable bursts of aggressive or violent behavior, even in individuals who were previously non-violent. 7. Your eyeballs are an extension of your brain and are directly connected to it.
Whoa. Those brain facts, man. Definitely write some of those down, bro. We're gonna need those.
Scariest things found underwater. From Atlantic Ocean. Stone people.
They from Atlantis?
Chuk Lagoon. WW to tank.
Damn.
From Little Traverse Bay. Jesus statue. From Lake Lanier. Underwater ghost town to 150 plus towns. From Lake Neuchatel. Shark statue. From Antarctica. Ningen.
What's that?
From Minnesota Lake. Jason Voorhees statue.
How was Jason underwater?
Girl that vanished into thin air. Her name is Yuki Onishi. On April 29th of 2005, 5-year-old Yuki was out celebrating Greenery Day with her mother. It's a national holiday in Japan, and what they do is they go out, they celebrate nature, and they collect bamboo shoots. So Yuki, her mom, and 60 other people were out doing this. Yuki was so excited that she found her first bamboo shoot, she showed her mother, and then she ran off to find more. That's when she disappeared and was never seen from again. When they realized that she was nowhere to be found, they actually brought in search dogs and the police. This is where it gets really strange. The dogs followed her scent to the middle of the forest and then just stopped. The scent stopped in the middle of the forest as if she had just disappeared into thin air from that spot. To this day, she has never been found and no one knows what happened. If you want to hear some theories, come back for part 2.
Deadliest disasters
That's
in
insane.
human history. Part 1. In 1986, the Space Shuttle Challenger broke apart 73 seconds into its flight, killing all 7 crew members aboard. The astronauts actually lived through the initial explosion and survived for nearly 3 minutes before they died on impact with the water. In 1184, a group of nobles gathered in a room in the Church of St. Peter above the latrine pit of the monks. All of a sudden, the floor collapsed due to their combined weight, causing 60 nobles to fall to their death into a pool of poop and sewage. In 1893, gifts were being passed out at a magic show in Victoria Hall. Over 1,000 kids tried to force themselves down a narrow staircase that led to a single door that opened inward. Only one child at a time could pass through, causing 183 children to be crushed to death.
With some gifts, man. Even back then, bro, people were going crazy over gifts. About items, belongings, man. It just, it don't make sense. People gotta be more careful.
Facts, Part 409. In November of '99, the girlfriend of Panthers wide receiver Ray Caruth was shot 4 times and later died in the hospital. It was soon determined that her NFL boyfriend had hired a hitman to kill her after she reportedly refused to abort their baby. The baby ended up surviving, and Caruth went to prison for 19 years before being released in 2018. During a tense pro basketball game in 1992, Serbian player Boban Jankovic was frustrated with a foul call and slammed his head into a padded concrete post. He immediately dropped to the floor and was never able to walk again after badly damaging his spinal cord. Earlier this year, 44-year-old Pennsylvania man John Matthew Chapman was sentenced to life in prison after driving his girlfriend across the country and luring her into a Nevada desert for a bondage photo shoot. He then bound her to a signpost with zip ties, taped her mouth and nose shut, and watched as she died.
Here's what would happen if every girl on Earth disappeared. So about 4 billion girls would be wiped out and the boys would be left to fend for themselves. And more than 70% of people in the medical field are actually females. So people would be dying left and right. Also, the entire school system would collapse. This is because most college students and professors are actually female. On top of that, 30 countries would lose their leaders and the world would fall into chaos. And then the boys would be left alone to go extinct.
Things humans weren't meant to
We need women. That's simple. That's a very simple thought. What the hell? All this secret footage. Okay, that looks kind of edited right there. I can't lie to you right there.
Get me out of here! What do you want? Please, I don't want to be here anymore. Just let me out.
What the hell is that? Super secret footage.
Gruesome facts you didn't
Is that legit on the edit?
This is the sandbox tree, a tree doing everything in its power to kill you. If its deadly appearance isn't enough to keep you away, maybe learning that its small fruits, which look like little pumpkins, actually become time bombs when they fully mature. With a loud bang, they will fling their hardened seeds up to 150 miles per hour and over 60 feet.
Damn.
To further add to that, the fruits are also poisonous and the sap can cause blindness and a painful red rash. This is a nose tomb located in Kyoto, Japan, which is filled with Korean noses. Japanese samurai would collect trophies from those they killed during wartime. Now, traditionally, it was the entire enemy's head. But due to how cumbersome it would be to take that many severed heads, they went with noses instead. The noses would be pickled and sent back to Japan. This tomb contains an estimated 38,000 noses. In July of 2018, a tofu worker in Indonesia named Sugito was out collecting grass and vegetables for his cattle when he accidentally wandered into a licensed crocodile sanctuary. It wasn't long until he was attacked, and guards did hear his screams, but they couldn't save him. The next day, a mob of over 600 angry villagers stormed the sanctuary to take revenge. First destroying the office, then going after the reptiles. In total, they killed 292 crocodiles. After each crocodile was dead, it would be dragged and placed into a giant bloody pile, and then they would take selfies in front of it.
Morbid fact.
They slid, bro. They was not playing, man. That type of community like that, you can't find that. That's rare. Don't mess with people, bro. You don't know where they come from.
Part 408. American actor and model John Eric Hexum was once seen as the next big thing in Hollywood due to his charming looks, charisma, and radio voice. But
But in 1984, he died on the set of the TV show Cover Up after accidentally discharging a blank cartridge into his skull. Hexum had apparently been playing Russian roulette with a prop gun during a break in filming, and the muzzle blast caused enough blunt force trauma to fracture a piece of his skull that propelled into his brain. Serial killer Israel Keyes went the extra mile to ensure that he would never be detected. He had no preferred victim type and never killed in the same area twice. For one murder, he flew to Chicago and drove 1,000 miles all the way to Vermont in a rental car, and used a murder kit he'd hidden there 2 years prior. When shopping on his murder trips, he always kept his phone turned off and only ever paid in cash. But Keyes was caught in 2012 after using a victim's credit card when he didn't have any cash on hand.
Things
This
people do
Jesus
is to
statue
not get
started
caught.
leaking water, and everybody thought it was a miracle until they realized it wasn't. In 2012, when water started dripping down this Jesus Christ statue in an Indian church, everybody thought it was a miracle. Hundreds of people would gather there every single day just to get a drink of this water. They thought it would cure diseases and even send them to heaven. But this guy right here wasn't buying it. His name is Sanal, and he wanted to see it for himself. So he traveled across the world to see this statue and began his investigation. He searched the building next door where he found drain pipes that had bursted, and they were leaking everywhere. It turns out the water dripping down from the statue was actually sewage water. So the water people were collecting and drinking was literally poop. Sanal shared this information with everyone, but nobody wanted to hear it. Instead, he received threats, and the church even sentenced him to prison.
Let's talk about the Arcadia.
He was just trying to expose the truth.
Arcadia County,
Or tell the
Ohio,
truth.
A teen named Calvin Dim went missing on his way home from school. This was really unusual at the time because Calvin was actually a pretty well-accomplished athlete, and he was very tall for his age, so whoever did overtake him and abduct him was either a larger person or a group of people. So for like weeks this investigation goes cold until a VHS tape is mysteriously found at the doorstep of his parents' house. The VHS was compiled of various different clips of unknown people in different masks who were just staring into the camera. But there is one clip in this video that had the words Cal, short for Calvin, edited into the VHS. This was pretty definitive evidence for the police that whoever made this video either knew where Calvin was or they had him in their possession. Police would end up finding this frame, which showed a person in a black tarp, presumably with their wrists and ankles tied. Investigators believe this could be Calvin, and what's even eerier is they think this was shot in the woods behind his house.
What? People are sick, man. Just like torments their family like that. Send a VHS tape to them so they can see that.
This is the creepy story about the school trip. An entire class of 6th graders went on a school trip. Everyone was taking pictures with phones and cameras. When they returned back to school, everyone was looking through the photos when the one girl said, "Oh my god, what is that?" Everybody ran over to look at it. In the picture, one of the boys in the class was sitting on the bus. Nothing seemed strange about the photo until you looked very closely at his reflection in the window. His face in the reflection looked like it was yellow and bulging, bubbling and mutating, and there appeared to be a strange floating white thing beside him. When everyone turned the picture upside down, they realized it was a skull, and it was horrific. When the boy saw the photo of himself, he burst into tears and immediately had a panic attack. The teacher had to send the boy to the nurse, and the principal banned everybody from ever speaking about the strange photo again. 7 days later, the boy in the photo died from a brain tumor.
So what the hell was that? Like a sign or something, man? He said he saw a skull on him, bro. And they was all taking pictures, man. So that had to have been a sign, right? That's crazy how they caught that on camera. 7 days later, man. When you're taking pictures, bro, it tells a story. I learned that watching these videos together with you guys.
Here's 5 things you won't believe you can buy off the dark web. The last one could have saved me a ton of money. Number 1 is fake passports for any country in the world. Now this is very dangerous because a lot of terrorists use this. Number 2 is a hitman. You can hire a contract killer to get the job done for you for approximately $5,000. Number 3 is credit card numbers. And since you can never know that an individual credit card has been canceled, these identity thieves sell them in batches of 100. Number 4 is a lifetime Netflix account for just $1. This account is paid for using stolen credit cards. Finally, at number 5, a fake college degree from the college of your choice.
People getting fake degrees out here? You gotta check everything.
Humans were never meant to see. If you didn't know, this is what a snail drinking water looks like. It's actually super rare, and the fact we were able to capture it on camera is incredible. But what's more incredible is this octopus dreaming. And the reason why it's changing colors so much is because it's dreaming about different environments. So it's trying to blend in all of them.
Whoa, what the hell? Octopus can dream? Yeah, I never do that. And that shot of the snail looks like a freaking, like a bullet went off, bro. It's like that quick. Hey man, nature. I learn new things every single day watching these videos to get with you guys, so I'm always grateful for that. Whew.
Now I love dinosaurs as much as the next guy, but I think it's pretty safe to say there ain't no way in fuck I'm taking part in this shit. Cause here are some of the scariest extinct animals you'll be glad took the L. First up, we got the Therizinosaurus, a literal Freddy Krueger of a dinosaur. If you don't believe me, what the fuck is that? They had 3 feet long claws. Now scientists say that they're most likely herbivores, but I'm sorry, evolution, what the fuck? Why have you given a herbivore 3 foot long claws to tear down the little plants? Meanwhile, you've given the T-Rex, the daddy meat-eating carnivore, little fucking Tootsie Rolls for arms. The me no comprende. Next up, we got the Meganeura. Now, I'm really not a fan of dragonflies nowadays, so a flying cocky fucker with a wingspan of 75 centimeters that resembles a dragonfly can fuck off. And finally, we got sea scorpions. Now, they're on the list purely for their size. I mean, what? They had a length of 8 feet and 3 inches, and when their claws were actually fully extended, that could add another 3 feet to their length. You know, just an 11.5 foot scorpion. We're chilling. Now, I don't mind scorpion. If this was a spider, nah!
Yeah, we ain't doing... I know we don't do spider seekers. That's a no. Man, so scorpion was that big back in the day? You can say we glad they took the L, bro.
This is Perfection, one of the worst videos on the dark web you should never go looking for, explained. Okay, so Perfection is a dark web video nobody should go looking for or even want to see. The video shows a woman peeling her nose and entire face off with a potato peeler, with literally zero expression or pain on her face throughout the entire time doing it. After she completely peeled off her face and nose, her jaw was just hanging down because there was no support from the cheeks anymore. There is a story about 3 friends who watched the entire Perfection video and 2 of them ended up dying. Many reports say that while watching the Perfection video, it somehow hypnotizes you and you end up doing what the girl did to herself and dying. But luckily for all of us, this video is literally impossible to find. It's extremely hard to find on the dark web, which means it's virtually impossible to find it on the normal web.
Good.
This is honestly a video I would even stay curious on, because it comes from the dark web for starters, and it's extremely and utterly awful. Nobody knows who the girl is or why she's doing this to herself, and nobody knows who even made it. But the stories surrounding the video saying people get hypnotized and end up peeling their own face off and dying make it 100 times more scary, and should make you not want to watch it or even look for it. Perfection is regarded as one of the most unsettling and disturbing videos on the internet, and the mysterious origin and story of it make it truly an internet mystery.
Let's talk about a terrifying moment from the scariest game I have ever played. Lost in Vivo. In Lost in Vivo, your dog Danny has ventured into the sewer and it's our job to save him. Danny is our best friend. We can't let him get hurt. The sewer goes deeper and deeper, evolving into all sorts of random locations. We push on to find Danny, fighting through unspeakable horrors while we do so. Eventually, we make our way to a mining area. And look, there's Danny. He even comes when we whistle. But wait a minute. Why does he look a little off? Why does he sound like that? All of a sudden, Danny's body begins to open up. This is not your dog, and you need to run because it can smell your fear.
What type of game is that, bro? Dogs, the final boss?
If your immune system ever found out that you have eyeballs, you would go blind. Which means right now, your immune system has no clue that you can see. Because if they did, they would attack your eyeballs until you can no longer ever see. This is because your eyeballs have a protein in them called crystalline that doesn't exist anywhere else in your body. So if your immune system found out and checked them out, it would be like, something's wrong here. Studies show that most serial killers are born in November. Today's high school students have the same anxiety levels as insane asylum patients had in the 1950s. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, my anxiety might be up there too. There's a disease called fatal familial insomnia, where people suddenly one day lose their ability to fall asleep, which leads them to slowly go insane. They can't distinguish dreams from reality anymore. and go into some type of paranoia. It becomes so severe that they eventually die. Those that make it to the final stage and don't die usually end up in a vegetated state, no longer conscious. And it can happen to any one of you. About 3,000 people go missing every year in the United States. The last execution by guillotine was in 1977. This was in France. And also that was the same year the first Star Wars movie came out. You are always 6 minutes away from death, but breathing resets the clock. In 2011, Anatoly Yakovlevich was arrested for having 12 dolls in his apartment. Only problem is, they weren't normal dolls. They were recently deceased little girls that had been dug up and dressed to be put on display. In 2012, a Burger King employee anonymously posted this to 4chan. It said, "This is the lettuce you eat at Burger King." It only took 20 minutes for people to track down the branch that he worked at, and he was fired. You really never know what people are doing to your food. H.H. Holmes was a serial killer who built a torture hotel in the 19th century. He had secret rooms with gas chambers, trap doors, and stairs that led to nowhere. He loved to play with his victims' minds. It was almost like a real-life Saw movie. Thorman was an infamous serial killer who not only cooked his victims to eat for himself, but also made them into burgers, using their remains. He then sold them to unsuspecting customers from a roadside food stand. We really never know what he is. I'm cooking all my food myself. Because why don't we eat over people's house? In 2021, a new homeowner was shocked to find a boarded up wall. When he ripped the boards off the wall, he discovered a hole. In that hole was a doll clutching a note. The note saying that she killed a family who lived there in the 1960s. Be honest, would you move out? In 1978, there was a pilot named Frederick Valentin. Him and his plane disappeared in Australia. And his last communication was, "Melbourne, that strange aircraft is hovering above me again." It is hovering, and it is not an aircraft. This is a mugshot of William West and William West. Oh, and they're not related at all. But they were both sent to Leavenworth Prison at the exact same time in 1903. And after some confusion, the staff finally figured it out. They were two different people who had the exact same name and looked identical. This was said to be one of the main reasons why we now use fingerprints to identify somebody. There's biotech being developed as we speak that can make prisoners feel they are serving an 1,000-year sentence in a matter of 8 hours. That's horrifying. Imagine thinking you spent 1,000 years somewhere, and then when you wake up and snap out of it, you realize that it was only a couple hours. Do you know how crazy that is?
You $20,000 if you can make it all the way through, but if you think that's an easy paycheck, you should know there's a reason why nobody's ever won. McKame Manor looks like a pretty normal house on the outside, but on the inside is where the nightmares live. The house takes about 8 to 10 hours to complete, but the longest someone's ever lasted is only 6 hours. That's because participants are physically tortured to the point where they can only be released if they're deemed to be on the brink of death. Participants are punched, slapped, have their hair ripped out, and are forced to eat disgusting things like rotten eggs. And participants are even waterboarded, which is a torture method that the CIA used to use but stopped because it was too brutal. You're probably wondering how this is legal. Well, the house is run by a man named Russ McKame, who gives all of his participants a 40-page waiver that they have to sign, which details that they could be fatally injured. Even though people have suffered broken bones, irreversible mental trauma, and heart attacks in the manor, it's still deemed legal. At one point, a Navy SEAL decided to go to the manor to see how much torture it really was. Reportedly, after 6 hours, he was still ready to charge on, but Russ kept dunking him in cold water and said he had hypothermia and disqualified him, which has led people to believe that there actually is no prize money, and petitions have been made to shut this place down. It's literally a torture chamber, but because it's free and a ton of people get bored, there's a wait list of 25,000 people waiting to try this out. Every experience is fully recorded and posted on YouTube, but I can't show any footage here because it's way too graphic.
It has to be capped, because that Navy SEAL, man, he was 6 hours in, he still wanted to go, but he decided to end the challenge. That's cap. Probably ain't no freaking prize money involved.
Horrifying facts that will ruin your day. Around 250,000 people every year die of complications during surgery. So you might go into a surgery and never wake up again. There are over 200 different corpses at the top of Mount Everest that will never decompose. If you die in your own home, your fluffy cat will eat you in order to stay alive. Believe it or not, there is a tumor out there that can grow hair, teeth, and even eyeballs. A human head remains conscious 20 minutes after the head has been decapitated, which means that you can still see and hear after your head is chopped off. Follow now and get 100 puppies on your doorstep because you know they won't eat you, unlike those cats. Hey, thanks guys.
I bet you didn't know this creature once existed, and you're glad it's extinct. For now. This is the Titan Boa. Scientists say that if the Earth's temperature rises, it's possible that the Titan boa could come back. This is the biggest snake to ever exist, at 42.7 feet, weighing in at 1.25 tons, or 2,500 pounds. It's about 60 million years old. The Titan boa was found in South America. It ate very little, but when it did, it ate crocodiles, boa constrictors, cobras, and pythons. The Titan boa could crush its prey with a jaw force of 400 pounds per square inch. And let's not forget, it can also wrap its body around you and constrict you into mush.
That looks like something out of the Anaconda movie, bro. Glad the Titan boa is not around now, man. How much that would affect the ecosystem? Earth would be looking a whole lot different, man, if that predator was still around.
The disturbing, still unsolved case of Mr. Cruel has kept me up for quite a while. Mr. Cruel was responsible for 3 attacks between 1987 and 1990 in the suburbs of Melbourne, Australia. During all of his attacks, he wore a balaclava to cover his identity. In each attack, he broke into the house either very late at night or early in the morning and tied up either all of the family or some members of the family. But in each case, the target was unfortunately the family's young daughter, who was between the ages of 10 to 13 depending on the case. In 2 of the cases, the young daughter was actually abducted and kept out of the home for hours before eventually being returned. In 1988, he abducted a 10-year-old girl and released her 18 hours later, and in 1990, he abducted a 13-year-old girl and released her 50 hours later. Authorities also think that Mr. Cruel might be responsible for the 1991 killing of 13-year-old Carmen Chan. Chan actually went to school with another one of Mr. Cruel's victims. Sadly, unlike the rest of Mr. Cruel's cases, Carmen Chan did not return with her life. But like I said, this case has not been definitively connected to Mr. Cruel. Disturbingly, Mr. Cruel is believed to have taken photographs or even videos of his attacks. His attacks were very thought out and well planned, and authorities think that maybe he stalked those particular families before he attacked them. All of his planning has sadly made it a lot more difficult for authorities to track down his true identity. Some of his victims have given accounts of what his house looked like this picture of what his bedroom looks like. But because he was wearing a balaclava over his face, there's not many identifying details to be known. However, as of recently, as in March of 2022, there have been some possible links made between the attacker and the electrical industry in Melbourne. Mr. Cruel's second victim was dropped off near an electrical substation, and 2 of Mr. Cruel's victims also lived near substations. Carmen Chan's remains were also found near a substation. And additionally, Carmen and one of Mr. Cruel's other victims both attended that same school, which was across the road from a substation. Perhaps Mr. Cruel was a substation employee or he lived nearby. Sadly, this is about as much of an update as we have right now. The official task force about finding Mr. Cruel's identity was sadly disbanded in the 90s, but if any more information comes to light, authorities are very interested in looking more into it. If you lived around the area during this time, what are your thoughts? Do you remember any of the craziness going on in the newspapers? I know some people mentioned in the comments of my original video that they were terrified as they were children at the time and were scared that they and their families would be targeted by Mr. Cruel. If Mr. Cruel is still alive, I think the world is ready for some justice. And so for the sake of the families involved, I hope 2022 is the year that we finally solve the Mr. Cruel case.
We ain't solve it. He's still out there.
You guys are not ready for this. And if you're new to my page, welcome to Creepy Talk. This girl had recently just turned 16 years old, got a car, and could finally drive herself to school. So it's midweek, a beautiful spring day, and this girl just wakes up and starts getting ready for school. She puts on her clothes that she had laid out the night before, which was a floral t-shirt and jean skirt. She then goes in her mom's room, who happens to be putting on makeup. She tells her to use purple lip gloss because berry colors looked good with the eyeshadow that she had picked out. She then kisses her cheek and just casually tells her that her part-time job is serving meatloaf that night. After she leaves her mother's room, she goes in the kitchen and sees her dad. He happened to be peeling an orange, so she took a slice from him. They then had a conversation about how they both agreed that organic oranges tasted better and that her mother should buy them more often. She then pets her dog, he drools all over her shoes, and she calls him nasty. Grabs her backpack, her pencils fall out, she picks them up, and leaves. Her drive to school was on a 2-lane road that had a drop-off on either side. She's jamming out to the song Ought to Know by Alanis Morissette, and suddenly she sees a Yukon coming down the hill straight towards her. It drives into her lane, and she swears this person had like no eyes. She said all she saw is a white-skinned person, no eyes, no hair. She swerves into the other lane, it also swerves into the other lane, and they get in a head-on collision. She opens her eyes after the crash, and she is back in her bed. She thought to herself that was really real, but she just chalked it up to be a dream. But then she sees that her same floral shirt and jean skirt are laid out, so she puts them on. She goes in her mom's room, and her mom's doing the exact same thing with the exact same makeup.
Time loop?
And they had the same conversation. She then goes in the kitchen, and her dad is peeling an orange. Same conversation. She then pets her dog. And you guessed it, he drools on her shoes. She then gets her backpack, and her pencils fall out just like in her dream. So at this point, she goes back in the kitchen and tells her dad, "I'm not feeling well, I am not going to school." Her gut was telling her that something was wrong. So she goes back and lays down. About an hour later, her mom calls her from her office. She tells her that there was a terrible crash on the road that she would have been driving on the way to school, and it's a good thing that she stayed home because it could have been her. She then goes on to say, "It was the weirdest thing ever. I have always felt like God or something has had a hand on my back guiding me." But she has never told anyone about this experience because she feared that they would think that she's crazy. She says, "But it's completely true and completely reality to me, and I'm very thankful to be alive."
So she like sensed it, or she sensed something was coming, or she dreamed it before it even happened. That's your gut feeling, man. Trust your gut. If your gut's telling you that something might happen or it's not feeling right, trust it. Like that too, man. In many cases, I don't know what that's called. It's like a feeling or something, man, you just can't explain, but you know when something's not right.
These kids went exploring, and they think they might have stumbled upon the real-life Fred Byers family diner. Now, in this footage above me, it shows two kids exploring a abandoned building. But it's what they find in this building that makes them question everything. As they're exploring, they begin to see a bunch of weird things, like an old animatronic, weird paintings on the wall, and voices from the walls. Now, this is only 5 minutes into their exploration, but they look through a peephole in the wall and they see two glowing eyes, just like the ones in Five Nights at Freddy's. So they leave, but when they go back for a second look at the place, you won't believe what they see. Hit the plus button for part 2.
They really found Freddy Face, man?
These kids went exploring and they think they might have stumbled upon the real-life Fred Byers family diner. Now, after their first exploration, they go again just to see if they will find anything else. Now, this building is in the middle of nowhere, so they get lost looking for it again. But when they eventually find it and walk inside of it, things are different. There's new painting on the walls, and a bunch of other weird noises coming from within the building. And the old animatronic they stumbled upon from their first exploration is now gone. In the footage, they're exploring, and this is right when they leave the room in which the old animatronic was in. Here is the footage. For some reason, they begin running and panicking in extreme terror, and then the video shortly ends. What do you guys think happened? Comment it in the comment section, and hit the plus button for more scary videos just like this.
They stumbled on something they wasn't supposed to see. Face Bear trying to take him out.
Yo, Fed, are you good, bro?
Yeah. It's just hot, bro.
Hot. Yo, Pharaoh, are you sure, bro?
Yeah. I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good. Yo, bro, you need to go to the doctor?
No. We good. We good.
All right, bro. Yo, bro, are you good?
Yeah. It's hot. It's just water.
All right, bro. Yo, bro, are you good?
Yeah.
All right, bro. Let's go. Come on now, bro.
Yeah.
Parents of Reddit, what is the creepiest thing your young child has ever said to you? I was tucking in my 2-year-old. He said, "Goodbye, Dad." I said, "No, we say good night." He said, "I know, but this time it's goodbye." Had to check on him a few times to make sure he was still there. My kid's Catholic school is over 100 years old. There is a basement under the gym that's used for storage. I was subbing once and during recess one of the kickballs goes down the stairs. A little girl was standing at the top of the stairs yelling, "Just throw it up to me." I went over and asked who she was talking to and she replied, "That big man down the stairs." I went down and there was nobody down there and it was the only way in. I asked some of the other kids if they have seen the man before and they said yes, but sister told us not to talk to him. I asked them to describe sister and they described the nun and there haven't been nuns at the school in 40 years. Go back to sleep, there isn't anything under your bed. Has behind you now. Still haven't gotten over that one and shiver at the memory.
Some creepy stories, man, that those kids seen or heard. Seekers, if you guys made it with me to the end of the video, you're a true seeker seeking the truth. I greatly appreciate the support. Make sure you guys leave a thumbs up in this video. Comment down below. Hit that post notification bell so you always get notified when I upload my next videos. You guys are going to catch you in the next one, man. I'm out. Peace, YouTube.